Welcome everybody to the Elite Mob Podcast. My name is Mob Miz. You can follow me on all social platforms at Mob Squad 508. We got my two co-hosts, and we actually got a special guest for you today. I'll let them go ahead and introduce themselves.
I'm Turnbuckle Telegram. You can follow me on Twitter.
And I'm at Took Timbo, all social media platforms, especially on Twitter. So there you go.
Easy enough, fellas. That was great. I don't know, folks, if you don't know who I am, old BT Double B, the one they come to see, the one made for TV, earthquake and pillars, shaking, meat popping, jaw dropping, Big Trouble, Ben Bishop. And I am so happy to be here on the Elite Mob Podcast. Fellas, thank you so much for having me on. This is going to be great. Let's get right to it.
Hey, let's get right to it.
I love that. That's probably the greatest intro I've ever heard. That's awesome.
Usually I let the host do the intro for me because I want to see how they do. And I'm
still trying to memorize it. Honestly,
gotten it messed up. I've gotten everything. You know, I do the 612, 15% of a metric ton thing, and I got people that can't figure it out. That just can't, or they say big time bet. I'm like, you called me the wrong name, and we're already on to like, come on. Yeah, dude. Finally, nowadays people get it right. But when I first started, I was getting big time Ben Bishop, and I'm like, no, come on.
Yeah,
Maybe I'll change. Maybe if I go to the Fed one day, brother, I'll be big time Ben Bishop.
You're big time to us.
There we go. Awesome. Yeah, I know.
Big time and Big Trouble. Both of them to us. We love your work, my brother.
Thank you, bro.
For sure.
I got a couple questions. I won't take too much of your time. But I do understand. So I'm a sports guy, like we talked about before. Yep. So I understand you had a collegiate basketball career prior to your wrestling endeavors.
Sure did.
Yeah. Can you give me like a brief summary of what that experience is like for somebody who's never been through that?
Yeah, I mean, so, you know, before wrestling, if people want to believe it, I did not have the aspirations to be a wrestler my whole life. I loved wrestling my whole life. I did. I've always been a fan since I was 8 years old. And when I first turned on WCW, Kevin Nash is my favorite wrestler ever. I've always been a fan, but I didn't grow up saying like, I'm going to be a wrestler. I'm going to be a wrestler, right? I was a basketball player, you know, because I'm a shoot, you know, pull back the curtain. I'm not 6'12", I'm 6'10". So I'm a shoot 6'10", right? And, so I played basketball my whole life. I've always been tall, and went to Worcester Academy in Worcester, Massachusetts, and then went to University of Vermont. Played 4 years. Got to play in the tournament a few times. My freshman year, played against. We got jobbed out to Syracuse. My junior year, we got jobbed out to North Carolina. But you know what? You know, I'm actually wearing powder blue. But it was amazing. It was like I wouldn't trade it for anything. Unfortunately, I had a lot of injuries. I was okay. I was all right. You know, I think I'll say in hindsight's 2020, but if I could have stayed a little healthier playing basketball, I think I would have had a better individual career. But you know what? At the end of the day, we had a great team career. I had the best teammates. I love Vermont. Burlington, Vermont's a beautiful town. I wouldn't trade it for anything. I would love to have my knees in a little bit better shape after four knee surgeries in college. But other than that, it was an amazing experience. Like, and you know, just being in the locker room, being in front of a raucous crowd at Patrick Gymnasium in Burlington, Vermont. Because in Vermont, there's nothing really else going on besides hockey and basketball. You know, it's all the way up there in Vermont. It's like 45 minutes from the Canadian border, so there's nothing else going on. You know, you can do that. Or you can either watch sports, or you can smoke pot. It's one of the it's two of the things, right? Yeah. So we had a pretty good, yeah. Vermont should be its own country, to be completely honest. Vermont is different. So so people just would come out and support. It was great. You know, we had awesome. The whole state of Vermont would always come out and support us. We were like pseudo celebrities in the town. So it was really, really a lot of fun, and that helped me, you know, kind of be able to transition over to wrestling. Granted, it was 6 years later after playing at Vermont, but you know, being an athlete my whole life really helps with getting into something like professional wrestling.
Okay, that's cool. That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Massachusetts and Vermont. I'm out in Massachusetts right now.
Are you a Massachusetts guy? Where are you in Mass?
I'm in Taunton right
Taunton.
now.
Okay. I'm originally from Rhode Island. So yeah, so a hop, skip, and a jump. But yeah, no, I played basketball in Taunton a good amount. I know Taunton had a giant high school for basketball.
Yeah.
I know that.
I'm originally from Brockton.
Brockton. Okay, Brockton's the one. Brockton's the one I'm thinking of. Brockton's, yeah.
Yeah. I've been out here for about probably like 10 years though. But
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
I mean, you just gave me a whole bunch of things I did not know.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, no, I spent 3 years. You know, the funny thing, aside here, I spent 3 years in Worcester at Worcester Academy, and I boarded there. I lived there, and I remember when I got offered by Holy Cross for basketball. Now, my coach went to Holy Cross. His
Yeah.
name is Ed Riley. Great human being, great person. Love the guy to this day. But I remember I was at track practice because we had to do 2 sports. So I threw the javelin horribly. I threw the shot put, no technique. Like I'm showing up in basketball shoes. Guys have like these real shoes doing the whole spin. I'm just trying to throw the thing. I'm like, I'm just doing this to get a credit. So I'm at track practice. I'm just stretching, and my coach, basketball coach, comes over and he goes, Benjamin. I'm like, Coach, or I can't do his Worcester accent, but he said, Ben, I just got off the phone with the coach from Holy Cross. They want to offer you. And I just look him dead in the eye and I say, Coach, all due respect, I'm not spending 4 more years in Worcester, Massachusetts. So you can just tell him no. But, I mean, great school, everything about it. I couldn't do another 4 years in Worcester, Massachusetts. But
I feel you. What's this pretty boring.
It's tough, man. It's all due respect to it. It's got its own little charm, if you want to call it that. But yeah, no, there was no way I was doing another 4 years.
Yeah, you gotta be from Worcester to love Worcester.
You gotta exactly. Yeah, you gotta be from Central Mass to really love Worcester.
But yeah, that's actually pretty hilarious.
Yeah, man.
Oh my God.
Well, I got one more question for you before I jump out of here. Yeah. So I did some reading, some internet sleuthing before, and some people might remember this name, Gilbert. Does that ring any bells to you?
Of course it does, dude. Yeah,
that's awesome. So I understand he got you in the business. Is that correct?
He did, man. So Gil, so there's like a few people that kind of I'll give you the quick story of really how I started. So my wife she had to go dog sit for a friend. So if that friend never went on vacation, she never would have dog sit. If she didn't dog sit, I would have had something to do on that Friday night, right? We would have probably done something together, going out to eat or something. But I didn't. I was bored. I was sitting at home. I was listening to Busted Open that day, and Enzo was on. And Enzo was talking about how he's making a few indie appearances. He just got released, and one of his first indie appearances was going to be outside of Baltimore, Maryland. I loved Enzo. I didn't go to a lot of indie shows. I knew about him. I went to a few here and there, but it wasn't like a big thing of mine. I was a very casual wrestling fan. Wasn't on the internet about it. I didn't talk about it at all, right? I just like to watch it every now and then. So I was like, oh, that'd be great. I'm going to go meet Enzo. Why not? I have nothing else to do. So I went. I showed up. I walked in. Everybody looks at me and is like, is that Big Cass really quick, right? Because it's just like, oh, wait, that must be hitting. Oh, wait, no, it's not. So I sit in the back watching the show. It's indie show. It's great. I'm having a good time. Just enjoying it. And then at intermission, I'm just standing there, and Gilbert walks up to me and he's like, hey, man, are you a worker? And I was like, I don't know what that meant. So I said, I got a job. Like, I don't know. He's like, no, man. Are you a wrestler? And I was like, no. He's like, well, do you want to be one? And I was like, I wasn't expecting to do any of this. So I was just like, sure. I don't know. Like, what? And so he's like, oh, let me introduce you to Jimmy. So he walked me up to James Ellsworth, and that's who trained me. And the next day I started bumping and hitting the ropes, and that was it.
That's awesome.
So yeah, so that's so I wasn't like, I'm trying to find a school. I want to do this so bad, right? I love it. Right. I love doing it, but it wasn't in my mind like at all. Like I was just like, hey, I'm 29 years old at this point, and I'm like, I'm just going to be a fan for the rest of my life, right? And that'd be fine. But then if I didn't, all that kind of fell into place there.
Just that one person going on vacation.
Yeah,
made it all work
how
out
it started. Then it was like a domino effect.
Stories I've heard in a long time as far as coming into wrestling story. That's
no, it's
cool.
Now that I sit back and think about it, I'm just like, wow, it is kind of interesting. Like I don't think about it as much, but I'm like, a lot of people go out and they look for schools and they're like, I'm gonna do this, but I'm like, I just kind of showed up at the right time, right place, right time.
Right time, right place. Exactly.
That's awesome. Hey, good for you. I'm glad that it found you, because I enjoy watching your stuff, and I hope you before I get off here, I hope you make it down to Florida to do an event sometime, because I'm trying to buy a shirt mid-match.
Where in Florida are you?
Jacksonville.
Okay, I will be at the River City Con.
You will? Okay, I was looking at that stuff this morning, actually.
Yes. So I'm wrestling Riddle the day before in South Carolina, and then I'm going to drive down to River City Con. I'm like 90% sure. What the week
That's
of?
awesome.
Just message me and I'll make sure I'll let you know if I am.
Yeah, for sure. I'd love to meet up with you. That'd be great. And like I said, I'm
Absolutely.
trying to. I love the buying a shirt mid-match thing. When I saw that video, I almost died. I had almost dropped my phone. I was laughing too hard.
Dude, that was a Jeff Jarrett idea, by the way.
Oh, was it? That
Yeah,
was
that
a
was a
gold
Jeff
one. That one
Jarrett
was
idea. I
great.
know, what a carny. Yeah, he came up with it. Yeah.
Yeah, he's the ultimate Connie.
He sure is the best kind. The guys from Tennessee, they're the
Yeah.
best kind. They
That's
are the
awesome.
Mm.
Well, I
Yeah,
appreciate your time, guys. I have to split. Like I said, I've got some stuff I got going on, but I really appreciate you taking the time to talk with us, and thanks for taking my questions there.
Absolutely, bro. You have a good
And I can't wait to watch the rest of this back. Thank
Hell
you.
yeah, dude. Talk to you soon.
See you guys.
get out the park, my brother.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Good luck.
All right,
bro.
Big Ben. I got some wrestling questions for you.
All right, let's do it.
All right.
Get up.
Let me start. I want to start off by well, you kind of did answer this a little bit in his last questions, but is there anything that actually inspired you to become a professional wrestler? And what were your biggest influences growing up?
Yeah, so I mean, biggest influences was 100% Kevin Nash. I mean, a lot of the bigger guys I always obviously gravitated to because when I was growing up, I was always the biggest kid. I never hit a growth spurt. So there's never a point where I was just like small and then like all of a sudden, like, you hear like sophomore year, someone grows 8 inches, right? That was never happened. I was just always big. Like there's a picture of me in kindergarten where I have my hand across everybody's head. Everybody's like literally head and shoulders shorter than me.
You've always been Big Ben. Huh?
Always been Big Ben. Yeah. So, when you're growing up as like a bigger kid, like everyone, everyone's like, oh, height's great. But when you're a kid and you're just so much bigger than everybody, like you're almost kind of not, let's say in a way ostracized because you can't really relate to anyone, right? As everybody's so much shorter. So, when I turned on wrestling, I'm like, oh my God, look at these guys, right? These guys are cool. Like, no pun intended with Kevin Nash, but these guys are cool. Watching guys like Nash and then, of course, rest in peace, Psycho Sid. And then when I would watch WWE and seeing guys like Undertaker and Kane and Big Show and Test and, seeing the guys of that stature, it's like something I could relate to. So, and I always loved just like the pageantry of it and, the entrances and the storylines and, obviously, of course, like the wrestling as well. So I always thought like, I'd love to, be a wrestler. Because that was in the back of my head. I'd go out on my trampoline. I'd go out for hours with like a big body pillow and I would do the moves and stuff. Used to be able to do a swanton. No, I can't do it anymore. I won't do it anymore. But,
Right to right kick.
No, not anymore. No, my feet are staying on the ground. But I always loved it. And I remember saying I'd love to be a wrestler. And my dad was kind of just always like, maybe do something else. Play basketball. Do that. You'll get a scholarship. Go play basketball. Right. So I decided on that. But, it was always in the back of my head. And people always told me, like, you should do it. Like, you have this big personality. Like, you have, like, you love it. And so even my coaches, when I was done playing basketball, one of them said to me, when I coached Matt O'Brien, he said to me, like, why don't you just do it? And I always made the excuse, like, I've had a lot of injuries. These guys, go through so much. Like, I don't think I can cut it. He's like, I think you're selling yourself too short here, man. He's like, I think you should go for it. And I just always doubted myself. Until that day in 2019, when it fell in my lap. And I was like, and I couldn't be more thankful because at that point, I was really looking for something, and I have a good life. I have a good job, great wife, loving wife, supportive wife. But it's just like, I needed something. I needed something else. I didn't just do like a 9 to 5. And then I felt like at like 5 o'clock would hit every day. And I would just kind of be like, now what, dude? Like, what am I going to do? Just like go crack a few beers and like, just sit and wait for the next day to start. And like, I needed something creative to like, feed that itch, right? Scratch that creative itch. I needed something. And this just kind of happened at the right time. And, I couldn't be more thankful.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I mean, you have, first of all, you got the perfect movie story and you got the ultimate wrestling personality.
Yeah. So hopefully one day they make a movie about me.
I mean,
just gotta figure out who's going to play me.
You
that's
deserve
tough.
it. They need to give you that spotlight first, but
Thank
you got
you,
the
dude.
movie story for sure.
Thank you, dude. Thank you.
You're welcome, my brother.
So, how much of your in-ring personality or your in-ring persona is drawn from your personal, like, persona and, like, personality?
Yeah, so I mean, they say like the best in-ring personas or the best gimmicks per se are always people that just kind of turn their personality up to 11. Stone that's always been like a Stone Cold thing. You look at The Rock, same thing. But then you'll also have guys like Undertaker and Kane who are not actually dead men, who can play a full character or pull a different character than themselves. Mankind, same thing. You'll have that. Now, I always knew, because going through the years, you always see big men, and it's always like, I'm the big badass guy. Like, I'm gonna come in and just do the big man things, right? Like, and like, yeah, that's cool and all. And but I never saw myself as that because I just always had like a bigger personality, and I didn't want to just kind of be like the monotone monster. Because everyone's like, oh, you should be like why don't you be like a Viking or like a like a jungle like Tarzan type character or like the Jock or something like that. I'm just like, that's all been done. It's like kind of silly. It's like, I don't know. It's like it was like too gimmicky for me, right? Like I want to do something more like close. Now, if I was getting paid millions of dollars to do something like that, sure. But I wasn't. So I wanted to do something that was fun, that could like make me enjoy what I'm doing. Yeah. So I decided like, I love like the old cheesy like John Carpenter movies. So Big Trouble in Little China is one of my favorite movies. So yeah, so I said like, I was coming up with names. I was just trying to figure out what the hell do I want to call myself or what do I want to do, and that was like the hardest part. And I was actually where I was training, we were all standing around outside, and I was just kind of trying like, man, what should I name myself? This as someone was asking me like, God, his name, I can't think of it right now. But regardless, he's saying Vic Ramone. Vic Ramone he used to wrestle in Maryland, but he said to me, he's like, well, what do you like? Like, I'm like, well, I'm really like a big fan of those like cheesy 80s like action movies. I think, and he's like, okay, like what are some of your favorites? I'm like, yeah, like Bloodsport, Big Trouble in Little China. He goes, that's it. Big Trouble. Go. And I was like, because I didn't really want to be like big something. I didn't want to be like, I didn't want to just be big Ben. I didn't want to be just big something. But I'm like, oh wait, that sounds kind of cool. Like Big Trouble. And then I was like, all right, well, name's Ben. And then I'm like, they're like, well, and I was looking at different names of like cool names. I'm like, Bishop. Screw it. It's like alliteration always works. Yeah. So I was like, all right, let's choose it. Let's do it. Big Trouble, Ben Bishop. And I just always said, like, I pulled that from Jack Burton from the movie Big Trouble in Little China. Yeah. And tried to like kind of his whole like anti-hero type of personality of like, what the hell am I doing here? Look at like, I'm like, what the hell is this? Not taking yourself too serious, but kind of thinking you're the shit all the time. That's kind of what my character is. And as you can see online, it's the same thing. I'm very unserious, but at the same time, it's like I think I'm the shit. What's that?
Has anybody ever told you actually do look like Kurt Russell though?
Like, I've gotten it a few times. Who I get the most though is Adam Pearce. Everybody, I get that online all the time. Just nobody's. If you look hard enough in certain mannerisms I make, people say Adam Pearce. But just the thing is, I'm not bald, so nobody. So that's why people are like, "Oh no, you don't." But I'm like, "Let's take my hair." Yeah. And somebody actually told me that at Squared Circle Expo last weekend, and she's friends with him. She goes, you remind me of my friend Adam. And I'm like, I didn't think anything of him. I'm like, oh, cool. Like, and she's like, Adam Pearce? And I'm like, oh yeah, that guy? Yeah, I know who he is. Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody in the world knows who he is.
Yeah, and she was like, yeah, my friend Adam. I'm like, oh, cool. Yeah, I was like, that's great. But yeah, no, I've gotten Kurt Russell before, and that's a great compliment. Thank you. He's a very handsome man. I'll take it. So but yeah, no, it's that's kind of it. I just wanted to be like a fun character. I didn't want to be the archetype. That's why I say 6'12", because I didn't want to be, because the reason I got that is because and as a Boston guy, you might have heard this, but when Kevin Garnett came into the league, he said, I'm 6'13", and they were like, why? And why wouldn't you say 7'1"? He goes, because if I say 7'1", you're going to put me in the paint, and I'm going to be like all the rest of the 7-footers. So I always said I'm 6'12". I don't want to be just the I don't want to be just the 7-footer. You know what so that's why I say it. So, and because everyone's like, just say 7 foot. And I'm like, why? Like you're gonna remember 6'12", and I'm the only person that says it.
Yeah, nobody says 6'12". They all say 7 feet.
Exactly. So it's different. It's different. That's how I wanted to do it. I just wanted to stand out.
Just got to stand out.
Yeah.
Definitely a free spirit, Ben. Another compliment to you.
I try to be
that
dude.
in your yeah.
Thank you, bro. You know, and that's the thing, man, is like too much in wrestling. Everybody takes some stuff. Here's what I say. You got to take wrestling serious. You can't go out there and just and be a jackass and go out and like take liberties because we're obviously doing something that is innate. It is unsafe. It's not safe. It's not safe to throw your body against a mat. You know, it's not good for you. It's not if you're trusting somebody with your body, it's extremely it's you know, it takes a lot of coordination. And so I always say you have to take that serious. But if you take yourself too serious, this industry is going to spit you up and is going to chew you up and spit you out because it's just it's unforgiving. People are going to tell you how horrible you are. People are going to get on you nonstop. And if you take everything so personal and you take yourself like it's going to have a bad time. You're going to have a bad time. So that's why I just try to be, like you said, I just try to be more of a free spirit. I try to have fun. Try to have a good time.
I think when you stop having fun,
it's not worth it, man. This shit is, if you're not having fun with this shit, it ain't worth it at all. At all.
You can see it in some of these wrestlers' faces that they're not having fun no more.
Mm-hmm. And even the guys making a lot of money, you can see it.
Yeah.
Not even just the indie guys.
You can see it. So that they rich as hell, but you can see they're miserable every time they're doing something.
And that's something I always bring, because a lot of people, and I go back and forth with this because a lot of people be like, whatever, be happy you have a job. But at the end of the day, you want to do something with your talent. Like you don't want to sit back and not do anything. Is getting a paycheck great? Yeah, because many people don't have that luxury of getting a weekly big paycheck. And yes, you should be happy and, feel fortunate and blessed that you have that opportunity to make a big paycheck. But remember, you put the work in. These guys and gals put the work in to do that. And so they got there and now they want to show the fruits of their labor. They want to be able to show like what they can do. So, every now and then when you hear like somebody being upset about their spot or not getting the rights, I'm always like, oh man, just be happy that you're there. We would all love to be there. But then I think about it and I'm just like, I'd be the same. I might be the same way. I might do the same thing.
Yeah. Some of them are busting their ass too and watching new people come in and just surpass them without
definitely.
working.
And that's something that, it's the nature of the beast in professional wrestling. It's the nature of the beast in entertainment, because it is. Wrestling's entertainment. It is. And that's what's going to happen. Somebody else is going to come in. Someone's going to be the new flavor of the month. Maybe now something you were doing is now being passed over for that other guy's spot, and that's another thing. That's why I say don't take yourself too serious, because things like that can happen. It's a roller coaster ride. Like, oh man, you're getting all this buzz. Things are happening. Boom, got a few wins. Boom, everyone's talking about you. And somebody else comes in. There you go. Now it's like you got to just be like, okay, let's try to now you want to try to that's why I try to stay like plateaued. Don't get too high. Don't get too low. Just kind of, stay even keel. Because if you get too high, you start reading your press clippings a little bit too much, get a big head. Like, oh, I made it. I'm good. And I've been here. And then all of a sudden nothing happens. And now you're just going to put yourself into a deep, deep state of sadness. So that's why nowadays I try to keep it right here. Just keep it right here.
It's better. Your mind state is a million times better than probably a lot of these people that get a lot bigger contracts.
And to your point, man, is that like, I get it because I was there before I started doing it. I'm sure you'll come up and ask a question about it, but before I started doing this content, I was there. I was miserable. I didn't want to do this shit anymore. I was like at the point where I was just like, I'm gonna quit, because it's like I didn't get it. I'm like, why can't me, who's like, humbly speaking, a good looking guy, 7 feet tall, I'm keeping myself in good shape. How can I not get a sniff, man? Like I couldn't get anything. And I'm just like, I did AEW a few times, nothing, no interest, just like, hey, thanks for coming, but nothing else. And I'm just like, what the hell am I doing? And so that's kind of what brought me into doing this internet BS. But hey,
I tell you like they need a locker room leader like you in the back right now. So
thank you, dude.
TK can reach out to you whenever he needs that leader. Tell him to come surround the leader.
Right here, man. I'm right here.
A few things to start going a little bit better in the back.
Hey man, you know what? And that's the crazy thing is that, you know, a lot of people just think like I'm shitting all over wrestling all the time. And I'm like shitting off. It's like, no, I'm making fun of the bad stuff in wrestling. And let me tell you, I was just at Squared Circle Expo. I'm not going to name drop, but I can go down the list of every TV wrestler who came up to me. Love your videos. You're doing great. Keep going. Don't stop. So am I going to listen to people who've made it, or am I going to listen to a Joe Schmo on the internet who's trying to tell me that I'm ruining wrestling, who has never done anything?
Probably not.
You know what I mean? So that's the funny thing. It's like these people are like, you're ruining the business. I'm like, you don't know anything about the business. Don't tell me if I'm ruining. You don't know anything. It's like, and I don't want to say that, like, you know, you guys are fans, right? And you do this, and this is awesome. And I see the stuff, that you post, and it's great. You guys are fans of something, and I love that. But I notice also at the same time, you're not trying to tell wrestlers like how to wrestle or how to do this shit, because you're like, and it's fine not to like a wrestler. It's million. I don't care if people don't like me. If you don't like me as a wrestler, it's fine. I don't like every type of wrestling. Doesn't mean I don't like the person. I just don't agree. I don't like that type of wrestling. Doesn't mean I don't like you. So that's the thing, I think, where there's such a big disconnect right now between people, especially with this tribalism stuff, is that, like, if you don't like, if I don't, let's just say hypothetically, I don't like AEW. You like AEW. Let's just say that's a hypothetical, right? Doesn't mean I don't like you as a person.
Yeah,
music, movies, comedy, go down the line. It doesn't matter. Like, we're not all gonna like the same shit. I'm so sorry. I'm going on a tangent. You guys ask your questions. Go ahead.
No, I enjoyed that. Yeah. But I do have another question.
Go ahead,
Go ahead. What's your favorite match you ever been a part of, and what made it so special?
Yeah, dude. I mean, it might be. I wrestle a lot of good people, so I got to wrestle Matt Riddle last year, and I loved that. I got to wrestle Steve Macklin in Burlington, Vermont, in front of a lot of my former teammates who got to go to, because it was alumni weekend for basketball, and that was amazing. That was a really cool moment. 2 consummate professionals. I've been in the ring with guys like Hammerstone, AJ Francis. I mean, shit, going down the list. I'm not going to name everybody. But, you know, I think the most memorable is, it's kind of recency bias, but wrestling Nick Nemeth. So I got to wrestle him last month in Hagerstown, Maryland, and it was amazing. It was like, you know, you get to a point in wrestling where everyone's like, oh, don't be a mark, don't take pictures, don't be a mark. You know, it's that old hat, old school BS type of mentality, right? But, like, it's almost impossible not to be standing in the ring and watch, you know, a guy that you watched your whole life walk in the ring, and you're about to do the thing that you watched him do your whole life with the guy. So, like, I watch him get in the ring, and just a part of me just goes, holy shit, this is actually happening. Like, this is so cool. You know, so you know, we had the match, great match. And after the match, he couldn't have been more complimentary. Like, he was just like, dude, I don't understand how you're not signed. It's like, he's like, I'm like, anything you can tell me, feedback. He's like, I wish I could. He's like, I wish I could tell you why. He's like, I can't. He's like, he's like, you're safe. He's like, you do everything right. He's like, and I'm just like, that's great and that's horrible at the same time, because I want to know something, right? But he's just like, he couldn't have been more complimentary. He couldn't have been more cool. It was a fun match. We had a great time. The crowd loved it. So I'd have to say that one. You know, it's recency bias, but that one's definitely top of my list.
Awesome. Good to hear, man.
Yeah,
I like that.
I agree with him. I think right now you're just waiting for some big men to move over, so that way you could fill their spots.
Either that, or, you know, there's always room for more. There's always, and the thing is, like, you know, and because we watched wrestling growing up, there's always big guys. Like, we grew up, and it was funny because people say it now. It's like, wow, I never knew Billy Gunn was that big. It's like, yeah, well, because Billy Gunn was next to Kane, Undertaker, and Big Show, and Test, and Albert, and, like, you know, a lot of big guys. So he didn't. But now you look at him, and nothing wrong with the AEW wrestling. He's just bigger than all of them. He's enormous. Yeah. He's enormous.
He's a lot bigger than most people.
He's probably the second biggest guy in that locker room, you know, besides Satnam Singh.
Yeah,
So, so I mean, who's bigger than everybody? But
I would love to see you versus Satnam Singh, though. That's actually a match.
you know, we tried a few times. It was going to happen a few times because we're both in Georgia. We're both in Georgia.
Yeah,
I think he is. I don't know, but he's always around here because he trained with Cody and QT. So, you know, there was a few times, but then like schedules didn't work out. So it was, but it was supposed to be when I teamed with Jarrett. It was supposed to be Jarrett and Satnam versus me and somebody else. Then ended up being me and Jarrett versus the tag team, the Heat Seekers. But yeah, that would have been pretty cool. But yeah, unfortunately, it didn't work out.
Hopefully, I'm gonna start tagging people.
There you go. There you go. Hey man, that's a big match. It's like that's a big main event looking match right there. That's old school main event for sure.
There's almost 14 and some change feet of people in.
Bro, he is a big MFer, man. Like he is all of 7'3" or whatever he is, you know, like and God, like I met him, I was like, man, and he's big. He's not just like tall and lanky, he's big. So it's like, man, this is what it looks like for people looking up to me. I get it now. I get it.
Bro, his hand is like my chest.
Yeah, dude, no joke. No joke. He is a giant man.
For sure.
All right. What's the funniest or most bizarre thing you've ever experienced inside a ring or backstage?
Man,
locker room leader.
when you share locker rooms with guys like, you know, the old school dudes like the Ricky Mortons of the world, you know, they're always trying to rib. I'm trying to think of like something that happened, like funniest thing that ever happened. You know, man, I would love to come up with something. I can't think of something. I just can't. Right now, I just can't.
It's funny for you, man.
You know, here's the thing. Yeah, that's the thing is like all these things I see, I find funny. Oh, perfect example. I got one now. So this is where all my humor comes from. Like all my content comes from being in these indie locker rooms. So I was in a locker room in Tennessee, and I forget. I think Ricky Morton was there. It was very old school. It was Burt Prentice. I don't know if you ever heard of Burt Prentice, but Burt Prentice was an old school indie wrestling promoter in like the Memphis, Nashville area, like Iowa, that part of the country. And he was actually also Jerry Lawler's like manager as well. So he was very well connected. And in that part of the country, in Memphis, Jerry Lawler is legit a king, right? So Burt Prentice, by association, was part of his court. You can call it that, right? So Burt was a big deal. So when I first started wrestling, Ellsworth brought me to Tennessee to, you know, wrestle, and Burt would use me because he's like, all right, doesn't matter that you're green. He's like, you're a big guy, and we like big guys, so come on down and start. And I couldn't thank him enough. Rest in peace. The guy passed away. But so I'm in his locker room, and I get off the bat. I'm like, this guy is a carny, like big time. But like again, Tennessee guys, the best kind of carny. So I'm sitting there, and you know the show's going on, and I see Burt start getting mad. So he's pissed. And I'm like, oh God, what's wrong? And Ellsworth looks at me and goes, don't approach him. Just like let him be. I'm like, all right, yeah. He's like, don't say anything to him. I'm like, oh, he's getting. All of a sudden, he goes out there at intermission and he starts yelling at the crowd of people that paid money to come in there, yelling at him. What's he yelling at? I know, just shh, don't ask questions. Listen. He starts yelling at him because they didn't buy enough 50-50 raffle tickets. He's like, you're embarrassing me in front of Jimmy Hart and Ricky Morton. You're not out here buying enough raffle tickets. And all of a sudden, I thought people were I'm like, they're gonna leave. They got up and they bought those raffle tickets. They bought every single raffle ticket. And I'm like,
funny.
My jaw hit the ground. And I'm like, I can't. He's like, that's how it is, man. It's like these people worship these guys, and they got up, and oh man, it was like they were like jumping out of their seats, like the money flying everywhere. Bought all the raffle tickets. We're not starting the show until the raffle tickets are gone. And
he knew how to work the crowd, man.
He knew exactly what to do, and I'm like, man, that was like 6 months into me working shows, and I'm just like, is this what it's like? And they're like,
yeah, that's it.
But they were all smiling. They're like, this is the best. This is why we do it. I'm like, yeah, I can tell.
Like, you know what? It's not what I thought it was.
No, dude, that's like my villain origin story right there, dude. Like that's what got me started doing this content shit, is like stuff like that happening. And I'm like, yeah, that is unbelievable. So that's a good one. Yeah, I would say that's one of the funniest things.
Very good one.
That's definitely a great one.
I got one last question for you.
Please,
It's not
let's
wrestling
hear it.
related,
Okay.
but what are some of your favorite movies and TV shows?
All right. Yeah. So I'm pretty eclectic when it comes to this. Like I said, I love cheesy movies. I love cheesy slasher movies. I love the cheesy old school 80s like action movies. Like I said, Big Trouble in Little China, Bloodsport, They Live. You can go down the line there and talk about all of them. But I also really love comedies, and I hope comedies can make a comeback. I think we've really lost the art of like a good, big Hollywood blockbuster comedy. The old like old school Step Brothers, those type of movies. Can't get enough. Can't get enough. And I'm not a big like Oscar Best Picture nominee type movie guy. Like I appreciate the art. I appreciate the actors and what they do, but like I don't know. I like obviously all the superhero like Avengers movies were incredible. I've kind of fallen off that a little bit, but I used to love all of those. The Transformers movies I loved because that was when I growing up. I had all the toys because my aunt worked for Hasbro, so I had a lot of the toys. So those were great. Ready to Rumble is one of my favorite movies ever with David Arquette. That's a great movie.
No, but I love the movie.
Oh, dude, it's so good, man. It's so good. Jimmy the King. So yeah, no, dude, really eclectic. And then when it comes to TV shows, I've watched a ton of them. One of my favorites ever. I love a lot of the FX shows like The Shield. I don't know. That might be I don't know if you guys ever watched The Shield. Yep. With Michael Chiklis, Boston guy. And that was a great show. Obviously, Sons of Anarchy. I never got into Breaking Bad. So that's always like, what? Everyone's like, what the. Like you didn't get into Breaking Bad. No, but Sopranos, one of the greatest shows of all time. Love Sopranos. Mad Men.
Mad Men is fire.
24. So I watch, and right now, some of the really good ones that I've just recently watched. I don't know. Have you guys watched The Pit yet?
Not yet.
No, great show on if you have HBO Max. Great show. Awesome show. It's like 24 where they go hour to hour in an ER. Awesome show.
It was on in my household. I just didn't.
Dude, I'm telling you, I think it's one of the best shows on TV right now. Really gripping. Really, it's like because I watched Grey's Anatomy, but that was more of a drama, and it was more. This one's solely about like inside the ER, like in all the crazy shit that happens. I talked to my buddy who's a doctor, who's a trauma surgeon, and I asked him like, "Is this shit legit?" He's like, "Oh, dude, yeah." It's like this is a really good representation of the shit that happens. I'm like, dude, no wonder why you guys get paid well because this is hell. This is hell.
I'd end up walking out.
Dude, it's nuts. It's nuts what they go through. But then also Paradise is a really good show that we've been watching. Me and my wife been watching. What are some others that we've been catching? You guys been watching any good ones recently?
The Last of Us.
Yes. I played the game, and I knew Joel was gonna die.
Pissed me off. Joel died that. Right?
Yeah, dude. I knew it because I was watching, and my wife was like, "No," and I'm like,
we knew it was coming.
Yeah, I knew it was coming. I wasn't gonna ruin it for her. I know it's coming. I just didn't know when it was coming.
They needed to stretch that a little bit.
I am surprised. I am surprised they pulled the trigger that quickly because obviously the star power of Pedro Pascal. I was there's no way they can continue it. But I don't know. The last episode 3 was pretty good. It looks like next week's going to be kind of the Wolves coming and all that. So I think it's going to keep picking up. I think Bella Ramsey's going to have to carry it, but she's always so far. The last episode was good.
They're gonna have to. I think they're gonna have to bring in a strong secondary character out of nowhere to help her.
You know what they need? And I was a big Walking Dead fan. They need like a Negan. You need a really good bad guy. You need a Negan because that I'm getting like goosebumps thinking about it. But that finale of that season when you didn't know who Negan killed.
Yeah.
I don't think there's been a better cliffhanger. You guys watch Walking Dead?
Yes.
Okay, so you know.
Every episode.
Okay, so you know that I don't think we'll ever get that cliffhanger again. Like that was.
Everybody was talking about that.
Everybody was talking. They did that so perfectly, and there was never a leak. Like obviously, everybody's like it had to be one of 10 people, so you get people guessing. But like, if people were like, "All right," he said, "Eeny, meeny." He started there, and then he went to, but she was next to him, and they were like, and people just couldn't stop talking about it.
Everybody had their own
that was like Game of Thrones, same thing, where it's just like that was the most. I remember that next season being the most anticipated like ever. And that was,
No.
oh man, I got chills thinking about it because it was so good. It was so
Now,
good.
Game of Thrones, I've watched probably 4 times back.
Have you watched it through? Yeah, I
whole
haven't
thing.
done it yet. I love House of Dragon, but
Yeah.
I haven't watched Game of Thrones through again. One day
Man,
I will.
love the series. Yeah, it's probably
I started a little later too. I didn't start it when it came out, so I think like 4 or 5 seasons were out when I started watching Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
What'd you say?
I got convinced to watch it once it was like already like season 4.
Yeah. Did you like it?
I watched every season, and it was the next season. The last season, the last season was coming out the week after I binged everything else. So I like literally.
Wow. And now it was pretty bad. It was a pretty unfortunate last season.
Yeah.
But
I wanna say though, because how I watched it, it didn't resonate as badly with me as other people, because I feel like they was waiting so long. Me, I kind of just like ran through it all in like a week, and then was on the last season, and it just.
So you weren't as invested as other people were. You were just like,
exactly.
I got, it's just here now.
It's just here. We here. I see everybody going crazy.
People invest a lot into that.
Remember that doc scene, like the fight?
Oh yeah, with the White Walkers. Yeah.
For some reason, my TV I could see it. It was like I couldn't see it like 100%, but it wasn't as dark as everybody was saying it was.
Yeah,
I could kind of see what was going on.
That was tough, man. That was tough.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was just like, what is going on here? And
Yeah,
then I looked on the internet and I'm like, I guess everyone's having this problem.
Yeah, I seen clips online, and it was like I couldn't see anything, but like on my screen, I kind of could see it a little bit better than what I seen online. I also might have been like 5 shots in, so I might have just been a little drunk and I was seeing things I didn't see. So
that's why you liked it. You were drunk.
Very big possibility. I will be honest.
This is a great show.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I just had like a blunt and like 5 shots. I thought it was great. I thought it was awesome.
I didn't do it at all. I don't remember much of it. But I of it. Oh man. You got anything else, Took, you want to fly with? Because I honestly,
I got one that I just came up with on the top of my head. Big Ben, I noticed you're a hat guy, man. You got a bunch of hats hanging around.
I do.
Yeah, look at all that. So
I do. I actually collect brewery hats. So brewery hats. So I want to eventually. I mean, this is a big undertaking because I'm only at like 7, but I would love to. And I have a lot from. So I have a lot from Georgia because I started doing it when I was here. But I want to eventually try to get one from each state I go to. So the good thing is that next weekend I'm wrestling in a brewery, so I can get one in Ohio, which I don't have yet. But I think if I go through it, I think I obviously have Georgia, I have South Carolina, North Carolina, Maryland, Rhode Island, Vermont, and Florida. Yeah, so I got a ways to go, but I'll get Ohio.
I'll probably bill you the Massachusetts one.
I got to go to it. I have to go to it. That's my rule. I can't because I could easily order them, but I have to go to it. And there's been plenty of times where I forgot, and I kick myself for it. So so next week I will be getting one in Ohio. So that'll be number I think 8. It'll be at 8 now. So we're getting there.
The Massachusetts one, let me know. I'll make sure I'm in.
Absolutely, dude. I got to get one from Mass. It's so easy. I don't know why I haven't done that yet, but yeah, I got to get one.
So I'm from Dallas, Texas. Do you have any shows coming up in Texas soon?
I'm trying to get to Texas, man. I've tried to hit up a place like the new Texas. What is it called? New something. New. I don't know. I forgot the name of it. But I've hit a few people up. I'm trying to get to Texas. And that's one of the states, Texas and California. I really want to wrestle in eventually, and that'll happen. But I haven't I did wrestle once in Texas. So I did wrestle in San Antonio, but it was for Juggalo Championship Wrestling.
Oh wow! Yeah,
so it wasn't a Texas Fed. It was just they were in Texas. And that was cool. San Antonio is a cool little city. But I'll definitely let you know. I'll let you know when that comes up. Do you have good indie feds around you?
Yeah, there's a place called MPW. I can send you some of their information.
Yeah. DM me. Yeah,
they're big in Dallas, and there's always like Comic Cons, wrestling cons, and all sorts of stuff in
Dallas. Is a cool city. I love Fort Worth. So I went to Fort Worth for a wedding last year. I know obviously there's a difference, but like I like that area. It's cool. Texas is a cool state for sure.
Thank you.
We gotta get you out there for all in weekend, man.
Yeah, I would love to.
That's what we need to do.
I
The
would love
tagging. Let's get the tagging started.
Let's get it going, dude.
That's what
All
we
in.
gotta do.
Yeah.
Benny, all in. Let's do it.
Get you out there
Nope,
somewhere.
there's a casino gauntlet match probably going to happen. That'd be
Dude,
cool to see.
just come on. Come on, dude.
Yeah.
Just get me, let the music play. I'm sure some people will know. People will pop for it.
We'll be there. But somebody's
There
gonna
you go. At least I'll have a few of you guys popping for it.
be there. So you have at least 3 people in the car for sure.
Oh, that's all that matters, man. If 3 people show up, I don't care.
The questions that I had for you, you actually hit most of them. The first one, you're gonna find hilarious because you answered it, right?
Mhm.
I seen the name, I seen the boots. I'm an 80s baby myself.
Hell yeah, dude.
I was gonna ask you about the Big Trouble that you obviously answered it. Remember we was talking about that before.
Yes, sir.
I was like, I don't know if that's a coincidence or he knows. Shout out to you for that. I do appreciate that. I did see something about a Young Rock appearance.
Yeah.
What was that about?
So I was on episode 10 of season 3 of Young Rock, and it coincidentally got canceled 2 episodes later, but not maybe because of me, maybe not. But I was on I was in the episode about Pat Patterson. And I was wrestler number 2. That was my credit. But I was it was like a battle royal scene. So it was like a 1960s battle royal in San Francisco. So The Rock actually narrated over that, which was cool, and I got to body slam somebody in the scene. So I got pretty good FaceTime in the episode.
Absolutely.
It's great, man. I still get residuals from SAG. So hey, you know what? Every quarter I get like $125. So I'll take it. I'll take it. And that was an awesome experience. I've got to do some cool stuff with acting, or acting adjacent, however you want to call it.
Yeah.
I got to do 2 WWE 2K commercials as well.
Nice.
So that's why everybody in my videos you might see that I have a Hulk Hogan thing set up.
Yeah,
so that is so yeah, it's because I played that. That's what I wore in the commercial. So I saved it. So that has spray tan still on it. So, yeah, I had to have 3 spray tans for that shoot. And so I got to do that this last November or December, whenever it was. I was in Miami for another WWE 2K shoot, which was great. In that one, I was on the same set as like Roman and Rhea and Dom and the Usos and Jacob and Sammy. So that was Liv. So that was really cool to kind of be there. Definitely no more of an extra talent, but you know what the coolest part about it was though is I was just there, and you say hi to these, everybody was nice. Like Dom was really cool, Rhea's very cool, Sammy really cool guy, Uso's cool. But then I saw Jacob, and I was like, I wonder if he remembers me because I've been on a few indie shows with Jacob before. Always been a nice guy, right? But I'm like, maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. But he follows me. I just wouldn't know if he remember me. And so I was like, oh, what's up, man? So he comes over, gives me a huge hug, big hug. He's like, oh, what's up, Us? All this. And I'm like, how you doing, man? He goes, oh, good, man. I'm good. Everything's great. I'm like, I'm so happy for it. He's like, thanks, man. He's like, but it's like, yo, those videos you make. And I'm like, yeah, what about them? He goes, they're so funny, man. He goes, oh my God. He's like, I'm dying. He's like, they are. He's like, I want to do one with you. He's like, I can't, but I'd love to. I'm like, oh, I wish you could. I'm like, damn, dude. But he was just like so fun. And then Tama Tonga came over and he goes, wait, you are the guy from like Instagram and Twitter. Like, I've seen you. I'm like, yeah, that's probably me. He goes, wow, I didn't realize how big you were. I'm like, yeah, that too. But they were like the coolest guys. I was like, man, cool. It's cool that he's like popping for me. Like he was all fired up. So that was that was really cool. But yeah, wrestling's been able to get me to do pretty cool shit, man. I'll say that.
Super down to earth, man. Like out of all of them.
Oh, dude. I don't want to kill his gimmick at all, but like he's one of the coolest dudes. He just because you know why? He's lived a real fucking life, dude. Yeah. Like he's like and a legit, like a tough life. Like there's no joke there, and he's very appreciative of everything he's got because he didn't have a lot for a while. So he's a real one, man. He really is. He's a great dude. Unless you get, I will never want to see that guy actually angry. I'll say that.
Oh, nah, me neither.
Because a few people have told me, they're like, oh, I've seen it. We don't want to see any Samoan. I don't want to see any Samoan angry. None of them.
One time, I think when oh man, it was like it kind of almost went to a real fight on the outside of the ring. I think he threw someone into the barricade.
Oh, the fan that tried to walk. Yeah, you don't fuck with that, dude.
Yeah,
Don't mess with that
leave him. He's a humble dude, but leave him alone.
Dude, don't do that. The Samoans, they don't mess around, man. If they're on your side, they're the best people in the world.
Yeah.
If they're not on your side, you better find another place to go.
Yes, 100% right. The only other things I want to know is, do you have any aspirations to keep with acting after Rock?
Yeah, dude. I mean, I would love to. I was in an independent film last year. I'm not sure when it's going to finally come out. I know they're trying to get it into film festivals, but there was a movie called Gentle Giants I was in, and it was a rom-com.
Nice.
And I was actually the bad guy, but I played Big Trouble Ben Bishop. So I played, because in the movie, it's not revolves around wrestling, but the guy's a wrestler. So the guy's an independent wrestler in the movie. It filmed here in Georgia, actually at AR Fox's school is where we filmed the wrestling scenes. WWA 4. Really cool guy. Really like Fox. And we filmed a lot of the wrestling stuff there. But the female who was casting for it, and she was in it. She was a love interest of the guy in the movie. She came to a few wrestling shows. I was talking to her and told her about like my aspirations to do more in acting, and I just kept in touch with her. And she was like, you know what? Actually, I'm gonna write you into the movie. Like, I got a role for you. And so wrote me as myself, and I just kind of played I kind of took it. I always say I was like a mix between like Biff from Back to the Future and like Shooter McGavin, where it's like kind of like a dummy, big, but like a big bully kind of. And it was fun. And you know what? Everybody was so cool. They were just like, dude, you were awesome to work with. Like, you were so laid back. Because like it's so funny because at independent shows, and I make these jokes, right? About like there's no water, there's nowhere to sit. It's like, it's packed, it's hot. But we're in this house, it's air conditioned. I'm just sitting on a couch. Like, do you need water? Do you need like a snack? I'm like, oh, I can get it. Like, it's okay. Like, I'll go get it. And they're like, no, but like, we'll get it for you. Do you need something? I'm like, guys, I'm good. I'm happy I can just sit on a couch and wait. They're like, we're sorry, it's taking too long. I'm like, hey, listen, I've been on independent shows with 15 matches in some smelly, disgusting locker room, standing because there's no chairs. We're fighting over 20 people are fighting over 12 chairs. I'm like, I think I'll be okay. Just like, I'm good. And I'm like, it's so different. There's they take breaks, they have lunch, they cater it in. I'm like, man, this is money.
Good
independent shows. I don't get shit. I'm here for 6 hours doing nothing. Hopefully they have a Nutri-Grain bar I can split with somebody in the back, But no, it was cool. So to answer your question, I would love to. I'm trying to work and try to get an agent. Trying to figure that way out. I got, it's on me. I got to be more proactive about it. But we'll see. Because I would love to do more. It's a lot of fun.
Something tells me if you take one day out your time to focus on the agent, you'll find one. I think
so. I think I just got to sit here and put my head down and email and just blast some emails out.
You got a huge personality. I don't think
you dude.
Trouble converting, bro. You're
very
man. The last question is actually because we was talking about opinions and everybody got some people got good opinions, some people are just crazy, right? Mm-hmm. Some people respect opinions. Some people feel like you just gotta, take whatever opinion they're saying as yours, right? So what I would ask you, I want to make sure I end my question on a wrestling question. If there was one thing that you could change in the industry right now, what would it be?
I mean, one thing to change. Wow, that's a loaded question. One thing I would want to change in the industry right now, and I don't know, because it's so ingrained in wrestling, but I just wish it could be, and it's tough because I don't think it ever can be, but I wish it could be more looked at almost based on merit and based on, instead of the glad handing and this is my buddy, I'm going to get him a job. You know, where it's just like, I think wrestling sometimes can be its own worst enemy. And I understand it's in every industry. People that have friends get jobs, you know, and where other people who might be more qualified. Now it's weird to say who's qualified and who's not in wrestling, but I just think of like, you know, I think there are a lot of guys on the indies right now who could do a better job than some people on TV. I'm not going to name names, but I'm just going to say that I do think there are a lot of people who are grinding and working really hard and have characters and know how to work in front of crowds who aren't getting the same opportunities that other people are getting because they're friends with somebody. And you know, so I wish that could change, and I wish it could be looked at more like sports. And this is every company. This is WWE, AEW, TNA. This is all of them. So I'm not just singling anybody out. I know the joke is all Friends Wrestling and AEW. It's not just them. It is everyone. It is everybody. So this is an industry-wide problem, not just a promotion problem. So I think that would be, and I think that would be better. And I think there are ways that it could change. I wish it was looked at more like sports, where, you know, I mean, you might not like somebody, but hey, if they're hitting 335 with 25 home runs and 100 RBIs, like, we're picking him up. He's not just because, hey, my buddy, I want to get my buddy who's hitting below 200, you know, and can't get the ball out of the infield, you know, but I want him because he's my friend. You know, it ain't gonna happen like that. So I wish that could happen more. And I think it would help wrestling as a whole. Again, that's perfect world type stuff, and that most likely will never happen. But that I think could be something that would really change the industry, and I think it would help. Like, I think if there were more non-biased scouts out there, it would work. It would work better.
Yeah, it would have to come down to a company that has no, you know, no.
There's like no relationship. There's no like bias. There's no, if that could happen, I don't think it ever will. But if, like I said, perfect world, that's the thing I would, if I could like wave a magic wand and something would happen, like that's what I would want to happen, because I think a lot of things would change. There'd be a lot of people that maybe wouldn't have jobs right now. There'd be a lot of people down the indies that would have jobs right now. I'm not saying maybe I wouldn't, but still, I think there's a lot of guys that could really make impacts, whether it be on TV, whether it be in arenas, that aren't getting opportunities because either they're just not friends with somebody, or they rubbed somebody the wrong way 7 years ago on an indie show, and somebody still holds a grudge, because that's something that happens too much too.
Yeah.
And then you notice too, the ones that have friends get away with a lot more, and they get multiple passes, and they get chances.
They do. And it's a bummer to guys that are just like really grinding on the indie circuit. And, you know, one of my favorite guys, and is Richard Holiday, you know, a guy who character work in ring, online, has a great presence, does a tremendous job. Like, I wish guys like him, I don't know the guy, but I see his character work as well, like a Charles Mason, you know, like guys like that, who just like, you know, he's doing a lot of the things right. Why isn't he getting more opportunities? And again, there's a multitude of them, you know, that I wish could get more opportunities and be able to showcase things on a larger scale. And I'm not saying just like big jacked up guys either.
Yeah,
you know, like it's a lot. There's a lot of guys who do great character work, and I think could do an awesome job on TV. And almost appreciate it more too. Like a lot of us indie guys, you know, if we get to that point, like look at like it took guys like, you know what, big inspirations for me are guys like LA Knight, Damian Priest, you know, who've been doing this forever, and they didn't get signed until they were 37.
Yeah,
you know, DDP, same thing. But with guys like Damian Priest and LA Knight, it's like now they appreciate it. So it's like, listen, guys, we were on the indies for 15 years. We know what it's like on the other side. Believe me. Like, this is like and so that's why that's like, this is my shot now. And you see them like go out there, and within a year, you know, those guys are two of the big players in WWE.
Yeah.
And you know, and just because they know it's like, this is it. I've been perfecting my craft for years. You know, I didn't have time to do too much trial and error shit. Like, I had to be on all the time. I tried to get signed for years. And so I think that those guys are definitely huge inspirations, but I wish more guys on the indies could get more of that exposure, and it would be less glad handing like it is now.
It's funny you brought up Holiday, because we just, outside of talk about you recently, we literally just talked about him, He's an amazing worker.
Dude, he's awesome.
He got a dope look too. He kind of got like that, like he got like an 80s, 90s look to him.
Yeah. His work is impeccable. His mic work's impeccable. His body, he has morphed his body into as better as he's ever looked before. And he never looked bad, but he just looks really, he's definitely more filled out now. And I say it all the time. I say it to him. I tell him, I'll say it online. I'll say it in private, in public. I say it all the time to people that like that guy, of anybody that deserves like a shot right now, it's him. Like, look where he's gone. He's gone everywhere this past year since he's been released from MLW or didn't sign his contract again, or re-sign. Like, he's gone everywhere. Like, he's doing the work. Like, why isn't guys like that getting opportunities?
I don't understand. He's been
it's a weird business.
He's been on just about every platform too, and they're not pulling the trigger. I honestly don't.
It's a weird thing. It's a weird. It's a weird business, man. And that's what I tell people. And we're before we wrap things up here, I tell a lot of people that you can't get wrapped up in stuff like that. You need to understand that, like we said before, it's a roller coaster. And if you get wrapped up in why aren't I signed? When's my time? When's it going to happen? It's like a watched pot never boils. And that's what I say. And like, if you sit here and all you're doing is critiquing yourself and saying like, I don't know if when am I going to make you? You're going to miss a lot of the fun, because there's a lot of fun things that we've done, like a lot of, and holiday too, a lot of cool things. And you got to appreciate it. You got to appreciate the small wins, or it's going to drive you crazy. And I say it all the time. Remember why you started. Like, we didn't grow up saying like, oh, I want to get signed. We grew up as fans. Like, we grew up being like, I love wrestling. Right. And, we wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't, if we never loved wrestling. Right. Exactly. I wouldn't be going to some of these towns and these buildings if I didn't love what I was doing. Yeah. I want to get signed. I would love to make more money doing this. Right. But like, remember why you started. And I always say, like, make younger you proud, and just think. I always say, like, man, 9-year-old Ben would think 35-year-old Ben's the coolest guy in the world. And I made that video the other day when the kid, I didn't make the video, but that video that was shared with me of the kid, I gave the kid my wristband. I didn't think anything of it, but just to see like the joy on his face. And I'm like, that brought me back to just be like, man, this is why we do this. Like, this is like, we do it because not just that kid, but we do it for us, like our inner child, right? Like, we want to do it for that. And that's what we forget. And we get wrapped up in all the bullshit and all like so-and-so online told me I suck, or this guy told me I'm not good enough, or this guy. And it's like, whatever, dude. You're going out there doing something that a lot of people would love to do. And, and younger you would think you're the fucking man if you did this. So that's how I now, and like you said, that's my mindset now. It's just like, you're doing something cool. You're doing something that a lot of people, not many people want to put themselves out there. Not many people want to chase their dreams. And, in a way of chasing your dreams, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. It's going to be sad. You're going to be sad. You're going to be told you suck. You're going to be told you're not good enough, because that's what people like to do. Misery loves company. And so when people like to do that type of shit, it's because they're miserable and they don't want you to succeed. They want you to be down. They want you to be down. They want to try to bring you down and try to get you to quit because they're not doing it. They want you to be with them. Right. So
definitely a lot of negativity out there.
It is. There's a lot of it. There's a lot, and it's going to come, and it comes to territory. I would say you never met a hater doing better than me. So that's the number one. That's the number one thing. They're hating on you because they don't want you to succeed. They want you to fail, so you can be right where they are, and they'll know, like, all right, good. That's another person that's not doing better than me. Perfect.
Funny thing too is most of those crazy opinions are coming from accounts that would never show you their face. So I mean,
never, and that's what I say. And you know what the craziest thing I saw, man, in like when I was getting a bunch of hate one day. I mean, I named the day, but when I was getting a bunch of hate one day, I was like, man, I just think I responded to someone. I was like, I think you're a coward, dude. I just think, and I'm not trying to say like, I'm gonna like come meet me, I'll fight you. I'm not saying that shit, but I'm just like, I think you're a coward. Like, you're not showing your face. Like, you're not. Like, I just think it's cowardly. And someone said to me, someone quote tweeted me because they love doing the quote tweets. Yeah, they quote tweeted me and said, oh, this guy finally understands that, like, we don't show our faces, so they don't run to our jobs, and like, so we can actually say how we feel. I'm like, that's being a coward.
Exactly.
Like, being a coward. Like, that's exactly what I just called you. You are a coward. So you can say how you feel without putting a name to it. You're a coward. You are a loser.
Yeah.
Like, put your face to it, dude. Like, do it. Like, and then I'll take you more serious. I'll respond to people if they put their face to it. Like,
I respect your opinion if I know who's saying it.
Yeah. Again, I'm not gonna agree with every single person on the internet. What a boring world we would live in if all of us agreed on the same thing all the time.
Yeah.
And we should have. You can have discussions. The big thing that I bring up a lot is like when the Jordan Grace thing happened, and when like, and Kylie Ray came out and she said, like, I wish people would stop critiquing what we do because you wouldn't be able to do it. Right now, you can take that one or two ways. Right. Like, I get why people got mad at that. I get why fans got mad at that.
Yeah.
But what she's trying to say, there's a big difference between critiquing and hating. Right.
Yeah.
You can have an opinion. You can critique. Here's a critique. I didn't like that Jordan Grace did that dive because I think Jordan Grace is better at doing other things. Like, maybe she shouldn't dive. Maybe she should just do her power moves. I'd rather see her do that. That's what I want to watch Jordan Grace do, right? That's an opinion. That's a critique. That's all you have to say. I just don't think that's her bread and butter. She doesn't do that as well as she does other things. But then hate is Jordan Grace sucks because she kind of botched the dive a little bit. So she sucks now. So she's a shitty wrestler and she sucks and she's not getting better. Now you see the difference. like nobody, like a wrestler that's worth their weight in salt. You know, we understand that, like, we're gonna get opinions, we're gonna get critiques, and you don't have to like us. You could say, like, hey, I'm not a fan of the way Ben Bishop wrestles. That's fine. I don't care. Like, I'm not a fan of every wrestler. I'm not a bad
opinion, but that's a bad opinion.
It's a bad opinion. Yeah, you're wrong, but like, it's but because everyone should like me. But I don't. And that's okay. That's okay. I'm not like I'll give an example. I'm not a huge fan of like I'm not a huge I can't sit there and watch a full show of Lucha Libre wrestling. It's just not for me. It's not something, but I respect the hell out of everything they do because it is very difficult and it takes extreme precision and it's very impressive. But it's just not my cup of tea. Right? It's not my flavor of ice cream. Right? That's fine. And like, my wrestling's not everyone's flavor of ice cream. I totally get it because I wrestle very Memphis style, very like 80s, 90s kind of style with a little bit of like modern sprinkled in. And hey, you know what? People like it and some don't. And that's fine. That's fine. But it's just, we've gotten to the point on the internet where it's like, you know, people think just because I'm loud on the internet, I just suck at wrestling. But those guys think I suck. But then just today, I heard Brian Myers, Matt Cardona, Mark Sterling, all guys who have been signed and been places, say on their podcast, Ben's great and has a shit ton of potential. So am I going to listen to them? Am I going to listen to Jeff Jarrett, who told me I got a ton of potential? Am I going to listen to Nick Nemeth, who told me I got a ton of potential? Or some guy in like Cardiff, Wales, who I've never met in my life, who's telling me that I'm a piece of shit, loser, jobber that's never going to get a job. Or the one retired wrestler, I'm not going to name him, who likes to spout off at the mouth every now and then and subtweet me. Not going to name him. But me and him, I'm never going to get along with that guy.
I got subtweeted by that person too.
That guy, I'm going to.
We don't gotta go bad on him. We ain't gotta go bad.
No. I'm never gonna name him, but he knows who he is, and I can't. No. Boys, this has been fun before I say anything else.
But listen, before we say anything crazy and go bad, you got anything specific you want to drop out? Anything you want to shout out? Anything?
Dude. So got a busy May coming up. So in next weekend in Cincinnati at Ryan Geist Brewery for Pro Wrestling Ventures, also used to be known as Warrior Wrestling. Can't wait. I was supposed to wrestle Trevor Outlaw. Unfortunately, he's injured, so they're going to find a great replacement. Can't wait to work for them. I've heard it's an awesome venue and great things. I've never worked in Cincinnati, so that'll be fun. The next night, I'm actually going to be down in Tampa, and I'm wrestling Danny Briggs. Danny Briggs from used to be in NXT. And that's going to be a hell of a clash of styles because he's a British strong style guy. And I'm Ben. So we're going to see how this goes. But no, it'll be fun. And then I got another on the 17th. I will be in Poughkeepsie, New York at the prestigious Mid-Hudson Civic Center wrestling in a fatal 4-way against Landon Hale, Dante Casanova, and Enzo. Real One now, as he's known, in a fatal 4-way match. That'll be a lot of fun. And then I got a match against Riddle coming up in South Carolina at Big Time Wrestling. And a few other things planned up. Fight Factory Wrestling in July down the shore on the Jersey Shore. Awesome show at Martell's Tiki Bar. It was a lot of fun last year and looking forward to this one. So I promote everything I do. So it'll be out there at Big Trouble BB on all platforms. Awesome. That's Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. Still trying to figure TikTok out. I had a video do really well the other day, but then the next day I'm like, oh, 500 views. I'm like, I had like 150,000 on one. Then I'm like, all right, finally figured it out. Next one, Dad, 500. I'm like, fucking TikTok, man. Everyone's like, oh, it's so easy to grow on TikTok, and I'm like, yeah, sure. God,
yeah, you're already famous.
I can't figure it out. I don't know. These guys, these wrestlers would be like, oh man, I got 17,000 followers overnight. I'm like, how the fuck you do this? I can't figure TikTok out. Stupid algorithms.
Yeah, the algorithm is a cheat.
Instagram likes me, but to TikTok, man, I am like, because everyone's like, oh, you're just a TikToker. I'm like, no, technically I'm not. Can't figure the damn thing out. Not a TikToker.
Trying. Right?
I wish I was. God damn it. I want to be one. They make the money. Shit.
They're eating on TikTok right now.
Dude.
I logged in once and I don't think I've ever logged back in again.
I never look. I only post and I get off of it. I believe me, I'm on Twitter and Instagram a lot, but I'm not like on TikTok. I just post. I only follow like 50 people. Like I just don't. Because I'm not on it. I don't go through it. Yeah. My wife loves it. I don't. I post. I get off of it. I can't do it.
It's the same thing, man. I might click the link to just send it there, but I don't know if I go on it that much.
No, dude, it's not for me.
My daughter's a TikToker.
The kids love it. The kids love it, dude.
Yep, my daughter had a TikToking addiction before she went to the army, so I know the kids love it, but I still ain't figured it out. You're not by yourself on that one.
I don't think we ever will on our age group, man. We won't.
I gave up.
It's a young man's game. Young man and young girl's game.
If I need to get the TikTok booming, who wants a job?
Yeah, dude, for real. Like I'll pay someone. You figure how to get me big on this stupid.
If you know how to work the algorithm, I'll pay you well. That's all.
Bro. When it was going away, I almost felt a sense of relief, and I'm like, oh, thank God, I don't have to worry about this shit anymore.
Yeah.
I'm like, damn, it's back.
Yo, I ain't gonna lie to you. I reshared that tweet, and by the time I reshared it, it was back. I was like, oh man. I went from thinking I won to back into it. Like,
oh, it just pulls you right back, and everyone, it's right back. Yeah. I should have known it wasn't going anywhere. I should have known. All right, boys. Well, hey, this was a blast. I talked so much, so I'm sorry if I talked too much.
No, good. Hey, one more thing.
Dude.
We all pose up for like a photo for a couple of my family members to see that the part of the podcast, the interview and stuff. I'm going to some of my families right after this, and I've already told them all about the interview. So
okay,
yeah.
What do you want me to do?
Just like a pose, man.
Oh, you want the pose? I'll give you the TV pose.
Yeah, there you go. Oh yeah, got it. There you
go.
Thanks,
all
Ben.
All right, dude, you got it. All right, boys. Well, hey, thank you so much. It's always fun. It's always fun chatting about and bullshitting. So, all the best to you. We'll definitely be in touch. Please make sure to. My dogs are now getting pissed. It's time for me to pay attention to them. They listen to me yelling. They're probably freaking out. But no, please share this everywhere. I will retweet, repost everything. So thank you guys again. And yeah, well, we'll all keep in touch.
Definitely reach out to you, bro. We'll have you back on again soon. And Big Ben, everybody go follow him. Big Trouble.
You got it. See you, boys.
Yes, sir.
See you.